Hello and welcome. Get ready to kick off a brand new series that's all about something we do every single day: trade. From buying snacks at the shop to countries exchanging goods across oceans, trade is happening all around us. But what exactly is trade? Why do people trade in the first place? And what kinds of things are being traded? In this lesson, we'll unpack the basics of trade, look at how it works, and explore the difference between imports and exports. We'll also discover the two main types of goods people trade: primary products, like raw materials, and secondary products, like manufactured goods. Here's a question to get you thinking. Why do you think people trade instead of making everything themselves? Share your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear from you. Stick around for some fun quiz questions at the end to test your knowledge, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you're always up to date with our awesome weekly lessons. Let's jump in and explore the world of trade. What is trade? Trade is the voluntary exchange of goods and services between people. This means giving one thing in return for another. People choose to trade freely, without being forced. They do it of their own free will, usually because they expect to benefit from it. Trade has been around for thousands of years. In the past, people used a barter system, where they exchanged goods directly without using money. For example, they traded raw materials and finished goods like spices, gold, and silk. People trade because they can't always produce everything they need or want on their own. Trade allows them to get goods or services they do not have. It happens at many levels, between individuals and between countries. If everyone had the same resources and needs, trade wouldn't exist. But because people live in different places and have different skills, trade helps reduce inequality and improves the lives of those in different situations. Economically, people decide if a trade is successful by comparing the benefits they gain to the costs they pay. If trading no longer brings benefits, people stop trading. People expect to benefit or gain from trade. If they do not see a benefit in the trade, they will stop trading. There are four main ways people can get goods. Produce it themselves. Receive it as a gift. Inherit it and trade for it. Trade includes buying, selling, and exchanging both natural resources, like gold and wood, and man-made products, like furniture and jewelry. It is one of the most common ways people earn money and improve their standard of living. People have been trading since the earliest times. Trade happens when people exchange goods or services to get something they need or want. One of the simplest reasons people trade is because they do not have everything they need, but they may have something someone else wants. For example, if you have two pencils and your friend has two sharpeners, you could swap one pencil for one sharpener. At the end of the trade, both of you are better off. This is what makes trade mutually beneficial. Everyone involved gains something. Trade can be the exchange of goods. Early trade was very simple. People exchanged goods directly without using money. This kind of trade is called barter. In barter, people swap one item for another. For example, someone with extra food might trade it for clothing. People bartered raw materials and handmade goods. Most people cannot grow or make everything they need. So, they trade to get goods or services they cannot produce themselves. Today, people trade at markets, in shops, online, and even on the streets. Bartering still happens in some places, but it is not always practical. Trade can be buying and selling with money. Barter had many problems. Sometimes people didn't want what the other person had, or they couldn't agree on the value of the goods. To solve this, people started using money. Around 5000 BC, people began using metal objects as money because they were easy to work with, could be shaped into coins, and were long-lasting. Coins were given values, which made it easier to compare prices and complete trades. Over time, most trade became about buying and selling with money. People began buying items cheaply in one place and selling them in another where those items were rare, making a profit. Today, money is used in most trade, and it comes in different forms: paper money, coins, credit cards, and even digital money. When trading with money, people first decide the value or price of an item. If the price is too high, customers won't buy it. If the price is too low, sellers won't make a profit. People also trade their skills or services for money, for example, by doing work in exchange for a salary. Trade can be described as a financial transaction, using money, or bartering, swapping goods. A system or network that supports trade is called a market. There are many different types of trade. Bilateral trade is trade between two parties. Multilateral trade involves more than two parties. Internal trade happens within one country. External trade is between different countries. Internal trade includes wholesale trade, where large amounts of goods are bought from manufacturers and sold to retailers. Retail trade, where retailers buy goods from wholesalers and sell them in smaller quantities to consumers. In summary, people trade to get what they need, and trade has changed over time, from simple bartering to complex buying and selling systems using money. Trade makes life better by helping people and countries get the goods and services they do not produce themselves. Trade doesn't just happen between people, it also happens between countries. When countries buy and sell goods and services with each other, we call it international trade or foreign trade. This kind of trade happens across borders and plays a big role in a country's economy. It involves the exchange of goods, services, and money between different countries around the world. International trade can be divided into two main parts: exports and imports. Exports are goods and services that a country sells to other countries. For example, if a trader from South Africa sells fruit or gold to someone in China, that is an export. Imports are goods and services that a country buys from other countries. For example, if a trader in South Africa buys a machine or a special medicine from England, that is an import. South Africa trades with many countries around the world. The main exports include diamonds, gold, platinum, other minerals, fruits, sugar, wool, and machinery. These are goods that South Africa produces and sells to other countries. On the other hand, South Africa imports items that it does not make enough of, such as computers, chemicals, oil and petroleum products, scientific instruments, and large machinery. South Africa is rich in natural resources. South Africa has valuable minerals like gold, diamonds, and iron, which are found in rocks. The climate allows farmers to grow a variety of fruits, which are then sold to colder countries in the Northern Hemisphere. Because of this, agriculture and mining are big parts of export trade. Since the end of apartheid, South Africa's trade with the rest of the world has grown a lot. Today, South Africa's main international trading partners include other African countries, the European Union, the United States, China, and Japan. What do people trade? People trade both goods and services. Goods are physical items that can be touched and used, while services are things people do for others, like fixing a car or cutting hair. When it comes to goods, there are two main types that people trade: raw materials and manufactured goods. People don't only trade goods, they also trade services or labor. Labor means the work people do using their skills and time. For example, a teacher, a doctor, or a builder offers a service and gets paid for it. So, when people sell their labor, they are trading their skill and time to earn an income. Let us talk about these in more detail. Raw materials or primary products are natural resources that we get directly from nature, such as coal, wood, minerals, crude oil, crops, and animal-based products like wool, milk, meat, and leather. These materials are called raw because they are still in their natural state and have not yet been changed or processed through manufacturing, cooking, or other methods. Raw materials come from agriculture and farming, mining, forestry, and fishing. They can either be used as they are or sent to factories to be manufactured into new products. Another name for raw materials is primary products. The word primary means first because these goods are at the first stage of use by people. For example, metals and minerals can be mined, crops can be farmed, and trees can be harvested to get timber. These resources form the foundation of production, making them very important to the economy. They are also called commodities, which are bought and sold in markets around the world. In South Africa, 75% of exports are primary products, which means a large part of what the country sells to other countries is made up of raw materials. When a country has many natural resources, it doesn't need to import many raw materials from elsewhere. Instead, it can export those materials and grow its economy. Raw materials are part of the factors of production, along with labor, capital, and entrepreneurship, and they are essential in making goods. Once raw materials are changed or processed into usable items, they become manufactured goods, also known as secondary products. Manufactured goods or secondary products are items that are made from raw materials. These goods can be sold locally or exported to other countries. The process of making things from raw materials is called manufacturing, and it usually takes place in factories. Another name for manufactured goods is secondary products, because they are made from primary products, which come from nature. Raw materials like metals, minerals, crude oil, coal, crops, timber, and animal-based products are turned into useful secondary products. Metals and minerals are used to make tools, cars, and electronics. Crude oil is refined into petrol, diesel, plastics, and chemicals. Coal is used for electricity and steel production. Crops like wheat and maize become bread, flour, and snacks. Wood is turned into paper, furniture, and building materials. Animal products like wool become clothing and blankets, while milk is used to make cheese and yogurt. Meat is packaged as food, and leather is made into shoes, bags, and belts. Manufacturing is important for a country's development and economy. It creates jobs, as factories need workers to help make the goods. When people have jobs, they can earn money, pay taxes, and spend money in their country, which helps the economy grow. Manufacturing also brings in profits that can be used to reinvest in businesses or support other parts of the economy. Countries export manufactured goods for several reasons. First, it is now quick and easy to transport large amounts of goods around the world. Second, not all countries have the raw materials or skills to make the products they need. Third, some countries, like China and others in Asia, have many workers who accept lower wages, so big businesses take advantage of the cheap labor and set up factories there. These countries often also have strong infrastructure, like roads and railways, which helps with fast and affordable manufacturing and transport. Many products, such as phones, clothing, furniture, computers, cars, DVDs, and televisions, are manufactured in countries with good infrastructure and affordable labor. These manufactured goods are a big part of everyday life and show how raw materials are transformed into valuable products used around the world. People don't only trade goods, they also trade their skills and services. A skill is the ability to do something well, often learned through education, training, and practice. For example, a dentist must study for several years to gain the medical knowledge needed to help patients. When you visit a private dentist, you pay for their skill and time. Even if you go to a government clinic where the service is free to you, the government still pays the dentist for using their professional skills. Different jobs require different kinds of skills. A carpenter needs woodworking skills, a musician needs musical ability, and a teacher must know how to communicate and manage a classroom. In most cases, the more difficult or rare a skill is, the more it is worth, and the more someone can earn by using it. Skills are valuable because they help people find work, provide for their families, and support the economy. A service is work that a person does for someone else, usually in exchange for money. Unlike goods, a service is not something you can touch or hold, but it is still useful. While skills are about what a person can do, services are the actions people perform for others in exchange for payment. These services meet everyday needs. For example, someone may hire a gardener to care for their plants, or a family might pay a cleaner to tidy their home. People like doctors, teachers, bus drivers, traders, and even government officials all provide services to the public. Services are not physical goods, but they are just as important, helping people live better and more comfortable lives. Well-developed skills lead to quality services, and both play a key role in trade and development. A good service clearly explains what is being offered, who can use it, how much it costs, and how it can be accessed. Services that are easy to understand and reliable help both the customer and the service provider know what to expect, creating a strong and fair exchange. In short, skills and services are important parts of trade, helping people meet needs, earn income, and contribute to their communities. That's all for today. Before we wrap up, try to answer the following questions on your own before the answers appear. You can pause the video if you need more time to think. Next time, we'll continue exploring the topic of trade, focusing on resources and their values. We'll look at the value of selected raw materials and manufactured goods, and dive into some exciting case studies. Don't forget to check the link in the description for extra materials and fun activities to help you revise. And remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our weekly lessons. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep learning and take care.